Hey, welcome to the Cowboy and Cadillac show. I'm Cowboy, and this is...
I'm Cadillac.
Hey, and listen, we've got a very special guest. You know, we promised all of our viewers we were going to bring somebody on really cool. Who was that we were going to be bringing on?
Well, it's none other than the country music star, Mr. Ryan Weaver.
Ryan Weaver, look at him. Here you go, Mr. Ryan Weaver.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, welcome to the Cowboy and Cadillac show.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Super excited to have you here today. Hey, listen, you might have got a little small package in the mail or something, because at the start of every one of our shows, we like to do a little toast. What was that you got in the mail? What was that you got?
Well, you guys sent me some swag. I'm wearing a shirt right now because I like free. Am I allowed to say shit?
Shit.
I got free shit.
Shit.
You guys sent me free shit. And then y'all sent me this beautiful bottle of Jack Daniel's Gold, number 27.
There we go.
And I got one of y'all's glasses.
Mr. Weaver, can we have a drink together?
We start every show with a shot of some kind of whiskey, tequila, bourbon, something. Today we're doing number 27 Gold Double Barrel, and I just to let everybody know here, I have an actual barrel of Jack Daniel's single barrel. So Jack Daniel's is one of my favorite. I know a little about it, know what's going on with it. This is actually considered twice distilled. They actually run it through the charcoal twice, so it's like Gentleman's Jack. However, they add a little special something to it, which is they put a maple hint on the inside of the barrel before they put it into the house.
Interesting.
So you may taste a little bit of Jack Daniel's 27.
Now, hang on now.
You're talking about it like this. I want to pour this thing. Hold on.
You go ahead.
While you're pouring here, let's figure out.
I didn't want to interrupt your educational system. Didn't sound like CRT to me.
Well, what should we drink to today, boys?
Hey, listen, I know exactly what I want to drink to. I'd like to drink to our vets.
Yeah.
Heck yes.
Every single one of them. Our first responders and vets, y'all know we're a big, proud supporter.
Yes, we are.
Of that. So, hey, listen, you got to make eye contact, Ryan, because, you know, if you don't make eye contact during this toast, you know what's going to happen?
What's going to happen?
You're going to have bad sex for 7 years.
And nobody can afford that.
Nobody can afford that.
I'm staring at you right now.
here's to Ryan.
Here's
to our vets.
Let's talk about our heroes, brother. Oh, that's smooth.
That is good.
That is really smooth. And just real quick, I mentioned to y'all on our last podcast that we were going to have some of the etched glasses. So here are those etched glasses. If y'all can take a look at that and kind of see it. Let me see if I can bring it up on the screen. Ryan did a good job of showing it off also. Yeah, awesome looking. So these are available on our Facebook market page. Marketplace page.
And I got to say, before we go any further today, guys, I woke up feeling extremely grateful today.
You did?
No, I did. Absolutely. Extremely grateful and thankful. I don't know if people listening or you, Ryan, just have those certain days that are just special, more special than others when you wake up. And this morning I woke up, I thought, man, I got great friends. I got a beautiful, hot, smoking, sexy wife. Got great, healthy kids, all these things, great businesses, living in America. But you know what the number one thing I was most thankful for today when I woke up?
What's that?
That I was not a liberal. Yes, sir.
Oh,
not a liberal.
I have to agree with you.
Yeah, no doubt at all.
That's pretty damn special.
Hey, listen, Ryan, we're, as we mentioned before, we're super, super glad to have you on the show today, and we'd like to kind of open up with, tell us a little bit about Ryan Weaver. Tell us a little bit about just a kind of a background, a little bit of history about who Ryan Weaver really is.
Man, I tell you, that's a loaded question. So my parents got together in a dark room one night, or maybe it was the back of a car. Anyway, we won't go down that road.
Was
but
it in Tijuana, or I'm just curious.
Seen pictures from something like that.
How dare you
Easy
talk
now,
about
easy
his
killer.
parents that way.
I told you we weren't talking about this.
We're not talking about that. Okay, all right. But no, I grew up in West Central Florida. Actually grew up all over Florida. I was in Marianna, Florida, from kindergarten to third grade. Was born in St. Pete, and then moved up to Northern Florida, then Eastern Florida, Rockledge, fourth grade, then back over to West Coast in Citrus County, and graduated from Citrus High School in Inverness. Went in the Army at 18 and was an intelligence analyst.
Let me stop you real quick. At 18 years old, what gave you the drive to want to join the military? What was that? What was it that you had the sense of, hey, I'm going to join the military?
Well, my grandfather was a World War II veteran. He was a belly gunner in World War II. And my dad's a Marine. Oldest brother, Steve, was a ranger in a ranger regiment, and then transitioned to be an aviator. And then my older brother Aaron was in the ranger regiment, and he was actually in the ambush in Mogadishu. I'll talk a little bit about that. But and he transitioned to be a warrant officer and an aviator as well. Both those guys were Iowa warrior pilots. And I went military intelligence, and then I transitioned at 9 years to become a Black Hawk aviator and warrant officer as well. Actually, my brothers were there to pin my wings on, and I was told that we were the first three brothers to fly as warrant officers in the Army at the same time in the history of Army aviation, which was cool.
Holy smokes, awesome. That is extremely impressive.
Yeah, no doubt.
It was, I mean, following in their footsteps. I wasn't hardcore like they were as far as the Ranger Regiment was concerned. I mean, Aaron was in the ambush in Mogadishu. Black Hawk Down was made after he was just a stud. And Steve, he essentially, Aaron had followed in Steve's footsteps and everything he did, because Steve was in the 2nd and 75th. Aaron was in the 3rd and 75th, which are obviously two different Ranger battalions. But yeah, they you know, they were perfect examples to follow in their footsteps.
Tell me a little something, and you just kind of briefly ran over it, but let's talk about the Mogadishu issue. Mogadishu conflict. The war that was there. And tell us a little bit about that whole battle for democracy and how we stepped in, and how Operation Gothic Serpent. Tell us a little bit about that scenario and that scene.
Well, first and foremost, the one thing that I can remember, there's a lot of things that I can remember, but something that was prevalent later in history was that Bill Clinton would not authorize armor, and ended up leaving the Rangers out to dry. Kind of interesting that his wife ended up doing the same thing for our Benghazi heroes, leaving them out to dry as far as not giving any support when they're being attacked. So yeah, it's a family tradition of screwing our soldiers over in the Clinton family. It's amazing, but not to get off onto some crazy tangent. But Aaron
was shame on them.
They have been known to take people out on top of that.
They have, and I'm sure they'll be watching this, and hope to God I'm not one of them. But anyway, Aaron was I think he was one of the only non-commissioned officers that did get shot in that whole thing. It was a battle that changed the way that we fight conflicts across the world, and the way that we fight our wars, because you essentially started seeing how we were fighting against folks in civilian clothing as opposed to folks in uniform. The traditional, as an intelligence analyst, one of the things I had to learn was about how our enemies fought and the different uniforms that they wear, and how to identify them and all these things, because of the traditional Chinese, Russian, all of our enemies that we would potentially fight do it in uniform, and all of a sudden we're fighting people in civilian clothes and using other humans as shields. And of course, then you started running and seeing specifically that happening again in Iraq and Afghanistan, doing the same thing. It wasn't that it wasn't happening across the world, but that conflict was such a pivotal moment in our military history, and how the insurgents and terrorists decided they wanted to start fighting conflicts. So, of course, we were the world's police force and have been, and that was a learning experience for all of them. But I know my brother came back as a different person. He was, he saw his brothers die. If you ever watch the History Channel interviews for the making of Black Hawk Down, he actually talks in the History Channel interviews. I think I'm going to need to get myself another shot. But anyway, that's the first time I actually heard his voice after he died. But we'll get into that a little bit. But so, yeah, I followed in their footsteps, and I was proud to say that I was a third brother that was an aviator. Got restationed to Germany. Then went to Iraq in 2003. Aaron was with the 82nd Airborne. I was with the 1st Armored Division, and he was deployed with the 82nd Airborne to Iraq as well, just southwest of Fallujah. And I was at Baghdad International flying out of it. And see, Aaron was a cancer survivor as well. That's going to digress a little bit. He came down with a rare form of testicular cancer that, if it spread past, where it's at, it was supposed, the doctors told him that would be extremely hard to stop it. So he had two options when they found out about it, that he either get an exploratory surgery to cut him from his sternum down, open him up, pull all of his guts out, make sure that the cancer hadn't spread, or he could do the harshest chemotherapy that was out there to make sure that it didn't get past that point. All he had to do was recover from his wounds from the surgery if they opened him up, and then he could get back to flying again as soon as he got an upslip, or he was going to be out of flying for quite some time, up to years, if he did the chemotherapy. So he opted for the surgery. They closed him back up and accidentally sewed his small intestines to the wall of his stomach.
Whoa.
And he ended up back in the hospital again, was almost comatose. He went from, I think, 160 pounds down to 90 pounds before they opened him back up again. Had a suture. He was out of the hospital shortly thereafter that. And I believe the timeline's right. It took him 5 months, and he maxed his Army PT test and was cleared to fly, I believe, at 8 months after that.
Wow.
So
A real life
real,
superman.
I mean, just,
Yeah.
just a badass. I mean, this is
Heart
badass.
wrenching, man. I got the chill bumps over here just listening to the
Yeah.
story. It's pretty
So he
intense.
was, I appreciate that. So he was as having cancer, he had to get a waiver to be deployed. His unit was going to be deploying to Iraq, and he didn't want to be left behind. And plus, I was over there, and he got a waiver from the division commander to be deployed, but he had to get bi-monthly blood screenings to make sure the cancer didn't come back. And he was flying in the back of a medevac helicopter to Baghdad International Hospital, or it's actually Baghdad Hospital that was downtown in the Green Zone, when it was shot down and killed everybody on board. And we became a one-time Gold Star family.
Wow.
Came back to his funeral from Iraq, and was non-deployable after that due to the Sole Survivor Act. I'm sure everybody's seen Saving Private Ryan. There's a provision in there that also says if you're a sibling and you're in combat and your sibling is killed in combat, that you are no longer required to serve in combat as well. And I couldn't look up in the sky for almost 2 years. When I heard a Black Hawk flying over, of course, we all know what they sound like. So it took me quite a while, and I was restationed back to Fort Rucker, and I started training candidates as a TAC officer at one officer candidate school, and then became a leadership development instructor there and finished out my career there. But while I was at Fort Rucker for flight school, I started doing singing and karaoke competitions.
And wait a minute, hang on.
Yeah,
He just
no
said,
shit.
He just said karaoke.
He did.
Do you like karaoke?
I sing karaoke.
I have seen it. Yes. I've witnessed. It's more like witnessed.
That's great, man.
It's a pretty good, it's a good experience.
Yeah.
I sing a little Clarence Carter stroking.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, stroke it. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Have a little fun with that. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's good.
So you were in karaoke competitions.
Yeah, I was doing karaoke and singing competitions in flight school because I went through a divorce in the middle of flight school and I was broke. And there's a whole lot of extra expenditures in flight school, and I needed to pay my bills. And those competitions, I was winning, and I didn't realize. I mean, this was late in my 20s. I didn't have any idea that it was something that I was good at, the entertainment piece, whatever it is. I had no idea. And then when I was winning, I was like, man, I really love doing this. This is for the first time in my life, I find something that I'm decent at. I'm winning, and I love doing it. I mean, it was super incredible fun, but and free. So then when I went to Germany, I was doing karaoke, and then when I went to Iraq, I started writing. I brought a guitar over, and we started writing some really, really bad songs. But
hang on a minute, that's got to be a great experience to be able to write bad songs.
Well,
or wait,
it doesn't
bad
suck.
Experiences that turn into great songs. I can't remember which way that goes.
Well, it turns into a learning experience. I'll give you that much.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: did you find that your music kind of brought life back to you?
Well, what ended up happening was when Aaron died, I kind of had to step back and took stock of my life. And my entire life, I've been following in his footsteps. And I realized that it was time for me to make my own path. And I couldn't get back to flying because I couldn't even look at a Black Hawk. And then when I went to Fort Rucker, they had a military auto competition, and I was like, hey, I'm going to try this out. I ended up getting runner-up on the post. When the winner went to nationals, they had Fort Rucker's 50th anniversary, and I got to open for Darryl Worley and Tracy Lawrence.
Okay.
On a performance on one field, and they were on another field, but was essentially one of their opening entertainment. And I met the Army rock band that was playing off post, and they're like, hey, we need country in our act. What do you think about fronting our band? And I said, well, if you don't mind, I've already had the marketing down, ideas down, already had all the stuff that I was ready to rock and roll. I said, well, if you don't mind that I market the band with a different name under my name, and hey, we're just out trying to make extra cash playing, the bars and stuff around town. They had gigs already booked and stuff. So that was on a Saturday. And then my first gig with them was that next Thursday. And yeah, that's where it all got started. I set goals.
What was the first song that you sang when you got on stage as your own name? As Ryan Weaver, what did you get on stage to sing? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't. I got to be honest. I mean, that was 2006.
Well, let's talk about.
But my first original song
okay.
that I ever sang was a song called "Anita in a Haystack," which I wouldn't do that now, but it was the first original that I was given. Somebody had written it, and it was not one that was on the radio. But yeah, I mean, so that shows it's you guys are going to get a taste, because a lot of the music that I started incorporating as what would be considered originals are still in the set because they are timeless. I mean, you'll see the opening song is a Jeffrey Steele song that he had on on his Outlaw album, I believe was called "Good Year for the Outlaw," and that one's been the starter ever since I started putting it in the show. It's been my starting song. So it was cool to get the original stuff in there. But I set goals for myself every 6 months to go to bigger clubs. And then once I moved to the 3,000 person clubs like the Whiskey and Macon, Georgia, and Whiskey River, and it was Pensacola, the 3,000, 2,500. Then I moved to festivals, and within a year, I opened for Montgomery Gentry and Trace Atkins and Blake Shelton and Craig Morgan the next year.
Hang on, can I say something about Blake Shelton real quick?
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Okay, first off, I'd like to say that we're both big fans of yours.
Yeah,
I appreciate
without
that.
a doubt. But my wife, I'm almost 100% positive she would leave me for Blake Shelton.
At a minimal, a hall pass.
Definitely, she would ask for a weekend off.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's great. But no, my first national act actually was when, right after I did the military auto competition, I did a singing competition in Dothan. And the winning prize was to open up for George Jones. So he was actually my first national act that I really opened up for. And then the other ones, came afterwards. So that was pretty cool to be able to say that I did that. Okay. But yeah, and then once I got out of the club scene, really, I didn't go back for the cover sets. If I was invited in for concerts, then I would do that. But I pretty much stayed at that level. I didn't want to go back to the cover songs and all that kind of stuff. So,
gotcha.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, let's talk about "Burn."
Yeah, that's what
I want to talk about "Burn." I love that song. The video's great.
The video's phenomenal.
I can't wait to hear that live. I know you can't.
Wait a minute. I get to hear it. Hang on a second, Ryan. I got to bring this up on the show. I'm going to get to hear it live, right?
Cowboy gets to hear it live.
My wife is going to be there, Mermaid. She'll be there with me.
Mermaid will be
there. But now you're not going to get to go because of, what's the reason you're not coming?
It's because I had a wedding that was already booked.
Oh. Not your wedding.
No.
Somebody else's wedding.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's family, and I'm a family man.
You are. I agree with that. You got a baseball team at the house.
I do have a full-fledged baseball team, all my own, and we'll be in Wichita, Kansas.
So I'm going to send some videos.
Okay, cool.
All right. So tell us a little bit about "Burn." I love the song, love the video. Go. What you got? What brought it about?
Well, we initially wrote the song as a military song, and then I got to do the Charlie Daniels Volunteer Jam, and when was it? 2015. Yeah, 2015 Volunteer Jam, and Tig and Oz were promoting 13 Hours at the concert.
Okay.
And I got to know Oz a little bit, and I said I had a song, and I was interested in potentially getting it in the movie because they said that they weren't done editing. And I don't know when they put the music in and all that kind of stuff, but I was going to see if I could get it in there. And we rewrote the lyrics a little bit to fit more for the film. And then really got involved with John Tigan at that point, and John jumped on board to help us get the video funded and all that put together. And we recorded the song, co-wrote the song with my good friend Craig Wilson. He's in the video as my acoustic player. You guys will get to meet him you'll get to meet him at the shirt down there. But
you're not going to get to because you're going to be at a wedding.
But a good friend and partner is going to FaceTime me with you guys there, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I am for sure.
that's cool. Yeah, well, sweet.
I'll
But
step out of the wedding for that.
yeah. But so we got all the funding for it. Took us quite some time, but it was a fan-funded, essentially, project, the whole thing. And John got Paramount to give us authorization to use the trailer clips from the film. So we got Chris and John down for the filming, all law enforcement, first responder, military or military family cast. And I was super proud of that project. It got to see it go from my living room where we wrote the song all the way to a full production music video. And we filmed that whole thing in one day. 4 different locations.
I'm going to say that again. If y'all have not seen Ryan Weaver burn, definitely go out there. For our viewers now, go check it out. It is phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. It is phenomenal.
I appreciate that.
And hey, I wouldn't be a great husband if I didn't do this. But Ryan, of course, Cowboy and myself, we are huge fans of yours. But I got to tell you, Mrs. Cadillac at home is even a bigger fan.
What's your first name?
Her name is Carmen. And if you could,
Carmen, how you doing, Carmen? Thank you so much for your support. Truly appreciate you being a fan. You freaking rock. I always love hearing that, folks that I don't know that they're fans, and then I get to meet them. It's just, sorry, we're not going to get to meet, but maybe next time.
That's right.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because he's going to be
will get to meet
at a wedding.
Yes. It's going to be a great wedding.
Sorry. It's going to be
we're working on another concert. Where are you guys out of again? I'm sorry.
We're out of the Panhandle, Florida, right up over
Florida.
here.
Oh, well, heck, I'm going to be driving right by you.
Yeah, and it was funny you brought this up in the very beginning that you grew up kindergarten or first through third grade in Mariana.
Yeah.
Because my entire family is in Mariana. I just lost my dad's dad, my granddad, but my whole entire family grew up there. My mom, my dad, they were kids, friends, grew up together. Both my granddads worked together. Both my granddads World War II vets, also Navy.
Wow.
Right there in Mariana. And I'm trying to think, Mom, I better go with Dad. Dad's age. Don't go with Mom's age. Dad's age. Yeah. Born in 1951.
Oh, wow.
So kind of a time frame. I think we're probably closer to the same age than them. He's old as shit. I'm just saying. Sorry, I got sidetracked there.
Well, if we're real quick, and we want to tell everybody, Felix will put it on the video, a place that they can go, obviously, and see your lineup for your shows, tour dates, things like that. But we have this one coming up for the Shadow Warriors weekend.
That's right, Warrior Weekend. Yes, that's absolutely. Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about that. People are going.
I want to ask. Ryan, I heard a little small rumor. We heard a little small rumor before we jump off into Warrior Weekend. But
the rumor's true. By the way, I talked to him.
My partner in crime over here, Cadillac. He's kind of a frou-frou drinker.
Hang on, we're going to rephrase.
You don't
that
like
shit.
frou-frou?
We're going to rephrase that.
Hang on, frou-frou. What's wrong with frou-frou?
He drinks whiskey and about whiskey only.
That's not true.
Right.
I drink bourbon too.
So anyway, I like a tequila drink, and in particular, I like a good strong margarita.
That's true. That's true. He likes it. He likes it skinny, though. Of course. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When we go
with an umbrella in it.
When we go to say Jamaica or someplace else, South Florida, they drop a little umbrella in a drink,
right?
And I'm perfectly fine with that because I'm confident of who I am, Mr. Weaver.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm bringing him along, but go ahead.
Tell us about the rumor. We heard that there may be something to do with Ryan Weaver and a
distillery
and some type of alcohol.
So I started working with Leatherwood Distilleries.
Yep.
It's a veteran-owned former special operator up in it's Glenview or no, Pleasantville. I get the towns mixed up, but anyway.
That's not good. You're promoting this and you don't know where it's made at, right? Come on, Ryan.
Pleasantview, sorry, because I get them mixed up. Yeah, Pleasantview, Tennessee, small distillery, but if you want to look it up, it's leatherwooddistillery.com. Great distillery. He's got all kinds of whiskey. He does whiskey, bourbon. He does moonshine.
Whoa.
He does tequila, a white tequila, and a vodka as well. But this is my tequila with him. It's called Gold Star Old Agave Spirit. Oh, yeah. You can't call it tequila if it's not distilled in Mexico. So it's called an agave spirit. But we made 1/2 of a barrel of this and got 78 bottles out of it. And super proud of that. I signed and numbered every one of them, and I'll be bringing you one down, brother.
Oh, man, that is freaking awesome. I'll make sure that I don't even break the seal on it.
Well, thank you.
Until our next show.
because he won't appreciate it like I'll appreciate it.
That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to shit
Actually,
talk
I
me
got to be
like
honest
that.
with you. So this tastes like bourbon. It actually tastes like bourbon. It has a
I'm all
little
in.
bit of
Time out.
I'm all in.
I got to stop you. A tequila that tastes like bourbon.
It's kind of like that.
He
I would say it's
knows
more of
I
a-
like tequila and that you like bourbon. Are you sure you're not a politician?
Yeah. Did you make this
so
for us?
no, really. We did it in a heavy char barrel. We aged it for 4 months. Probably, if I would have had my druthers on it with our next batch, we're going to age it for 2 months because this is more like an añejo, maybe a double añejo than a reposado, which I love the reposados.
Did he say a-hole?
And I did. It's
Well,
a double
heck,
asshole.
it-
It's a double asshole tequila.
Well, speaking of that, we're getting ready to talk about Biden here in just a minute.
It's a little bit. It's a little bit dark.
Tell
Anyway,
us,
but
hey, Ryan, tell us
yeah.
when is this going to be available? When can people buy this off of the shelf?
This batch is the special first batch. It's actually got its own label for this first batch. I believe there are only 50 bottles left of this, maybe. They're only available at the distillery, but he's working on distribution to be able to get them out. These are a little bit more expensive because they're only 80 bottles that were made. There's 78 bottles that were made.
Sure.
The next batch that's going to be available online for purchase.
There we go.
Yeah. But I mean, it's the first product with them. Always, everything's got to be a test to see how it works and with the price, whether the pricing's right, based off of how much it cost them to make that small batch. But anybody that is a fan of micro batches and in single barrels and all that, which most bourbon drinkers are, and that's really who we were tailoring this batch to.
Okay.
And
I
plus,
like
we
it.
didn't want to make
And let me
10
say,
barrels of it and not know.
so let me say
Right,
this. That is
right.
called Gold Star. What was the
Yeah,
last-
it's Gold Star Old Agave Spirit.
Old agave.
There you go.
And
Old
I
Agave
actually
Spirit.
drew that skull and and took it to, you guys are going to meet Steve Fozen down in Orlando.
Wait a
You
minute.
get to
He
meet
said
him.
you guys. What he meant to say was
Well,
Cowboy is going to
Cowboy's going to.
Yeah, but not
Yeah.
Cadillac, because Cadillac.
Tell these guys I'm sorry they're not going to get to meet me. They're the
I'm
one. They'll
sorry
want to
they're
talk
not
to
gonna
me
get to
about
meet
a
you.
continued
if y'all can
relationship
pick
and
up,
things here.
if our viewers here
Okay.
can pick up on, I'm giving you some shit about going to a wedding instead of going with your freaking partner in crime
Yes.
down into Central Florida to go have some fun.
Yeah, and
Can I
here-
stress enough that that's just wrong?
And I appreciate
wrong.
that. I appreciate that very much. But let
I
me
wouldn't
just
leave
say
you
this.
like that.
No. Well, look.
Well, hey,
Here's what I'm
I
going
don't know
to
what
say.
you did.
Ryan, I got to say it. I got to say it. That I practice what I preach, as do you.
Yeah.
And we are God-fearing,
Gun
toting,
toting.
free market capitalists here at the show, son.
Yes.
Look at there. He's got it on the back
Oh,
of the shirt.
I wish
there.
I could turn it all the way
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
So, you
So with that being said, one of our big things God-fearing is tradition. We're all
Yeah.
about, and family traditions important to us here at the show. So I will be with my lovely family. Going to miss you guys very much.
family first.
Yeah.
But
So
gotta
he's
do that.
basically saying I'm not family now. I see how this is going.
Family
He's starting to
first.
sound like a woman twisting this around.
I was
on me
thinking
like
liberal.
that.
I was
You
thinking
hear that?
liberal.
He's
Liberals don't know the truth. They
Well, you
won't answer
sounded
a
like
question.
a white Caucasian liberal woman with 56.3% mental issues going on.
I
You know what I'm saying?
identify as a child.
Your wife would agree.
That's a true story. That's definitely a true
great.
story.
Well, hey,
listen,
you do have an opportunity. Sorry, go ahead.
no,
I
you
interrupted.
go right ahead.
So if you the weekend before Veterans Day weekend, which is November.
November
Hold
11th,
on.
Veterans Day.
Yeah, November 11th, Veterans Day, but this is the weekend before. It's November 5th and 6th. We have a new music video, new song. Let's talk about heroes. I got to send it to you guys so you can preview it. It's not final yet, but we're going to release that music video if I don't get a performance on Fox on September 11th, because we're looking at trying to do that too.
Awesome.
We're going to release this video and we're doing a full-on concert festival, Heroes Festival, the weekend before Veterans Day, which is in the middle of the week. So would love to have you guys out if you all want to do some
That's
stuff for that weekend.
Definitely something we could slip off and do. Where's that going to be at?
It's in Claxton, Georgia. I don't know where
That's close.
the airport is, right outside of Claxton, so right around Savannah. So
Okay.
it's close to Savannah.
It's funny because we're actually a lot closer, the three of us, than what I knew, because I'm in the process of getting my pilot's license now also. So
Oh.
it's Cadillac.
Yeah.
So maybe by that time we could actually fly ourselves over there.
Yeah. Maybe.
And the thing is, it's going to be at an airport.
Oh,
So you may be able to even fly into the airport that we're having the festival at.
we'll drop in.
Sun and fun.
Yeah. I'll
Great.
let
Close
Cadillac
by
jump
anyway.
with a chute.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You can jump.
Yeah.
Would you do that? Would you
Jumping out of a
jump?
perfect.
Better than me trying to land the plane right now.
That's true.
Yeah.
Almighty, that's a true story for sure. Hey, listen, let's talk a little bit about our let's see, what can I call him? Our retard. Let's talk a little bit about our retard president.
In chief?
And
Sure.
well, Sleepy Joe and the hoe comes to mind when I think about it.
Yeah. Let's just go ahead and put it on out there because we're not impressed with them. And I
Who
think
would
that
be?
these
I just don't understand anybody that is.
Well, I think the whole audit that's come out of Arizona now, what do we do with this? We're sitting there looking at it that we have a country, the greatest country in the world, being ran by some knuckleheads.
Retard.
That obviously the result, we come from the old school to where the results speak for themselves, Ryan.
Of course.
Right? We're in business. You're in business. And we absolutely believe that the results speak for themselves. The results are pitiful. We're 6 months, 7 months into this thing, and the results are pitiful. They're no more an American president and vice president. They're horrible. With that being said, tell us your feelings on who we currently have in the office here.
Well, the one thing that is true in every conversation that I have on social media when I'm going back and forth and battling out with folks or whatever is not a single one of them can defend anything he's done or she's done without saying Trump.
Sure.
That's all they've got. They everything is a deflection to Trump. Well, and the whole "I'm rubber, you're glue" fifth grade response to everything that someone says factually about this joke that we watch every single day that cannot keep a single thought without, going off into outer space like Bezos and the big white penis.
He kind of looked like
without being on a teleprompter, and even then,
did we just go back to Frankenbeans? Frankenbeans.
We did. You guys have to look on my Instagram page. I got a ruler of Kamala measuring the big white penis with a big smile on her face.
I'm dying right now.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. But it's just anybody that wants the best for their. Here's the deal. I have so many liberal friends, and I never have knockdown, drag out argument fights with them about about politics. We can have normal conversation, and it's not an argument. We can have legitimate conversation because bottom line, here's what I think, because there's this very small group of huge mouth people that they're yelling so much louder than everybody else. And they're the ones that are being heard, and they're the ones that make no freaking sense whatsoever. They can't back up anything by facts. You can have a normal conversation with somebody who doesn't agree with you politically and talk about the things that we all care about. Because I personally think, and this is just me, you were asking me before, when we were chatting a little bit ahead of time, I toured around in the United States, and I was honoring our law enforcement, first responders, and military. Of course, it was with professional bull riders. So an entire arena was there that were the most patriotic people you're ever going to run into in the Western sports.
Don't let us get sidetracked here, but I got you bull riding.
Yeah.
Did you do some bull riding?
Oh, heck no.
Oh, okay.
I entertained for them. No, I sang. I sang. I did not. No, I performed in Madison Square Garden, AT&T Stadium. I got to perform in front of these massive crowds, but I would not get on a bull. I wouldn't even get on the little baby bulls that they were putting all those celebrities on. I hurt my leg, my ankle or something like that, turning into a Conor McGregor, and then I can't do anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't ever see that. I never saw that. And I personally think, and this is just me, that the majority of Americans want a few simple things. They want to make sure their family's taken care of, that they can make a living and pay their bills with a roof over the top of their head and be safe. It's just that simple. The thing is, how can you look at this dumpster fire of an administration and say that any of those things are being accomplished for you as a liberal or a conservative? How can anyone say that that's happening?
Right.
They can't.
Yeah, it's not
Facts
happening.
just don't back up how much you hated Trump so much that you're willing to be that lemming that just follows the Democrats right off a cliff.
Yeah.
It makes no damn sense whatsoever. And you try and talk sense into these people, but they're just like, well, who cares if Biden can't speak? Trump is ugly. He was mean.
Right. Mean tweets, orange man bad. We get it. And we okay, but I also get $5 a gallon gas versus $1.79 a gallon gas.
Yeah.
You know, these things have real life implications. And I think for us too, when you look at it, how many agendas were pushed under the Trump administration versus all the agendas that are coming out of nowhere right now since we've had these two fools in office? You know,
America First agendas.
That's it.
There were America First agendas in Trump.
Yes. America First. Absolute America First. But now we've got BLM.
America Last.
Who,
that's right.
By the way, I don't know if you guys remember, but they threw their support behind Fidel Castro just a few years ago in 2016. We've got the LGBTQ, which guess what?
XTVW.
I think they just finally threw a plus at the end of the thing.
So they can just have the alphabet.
Yeah, and here's the thing with that. A true conservative believes in smaller government. We don't care what you do in your time. Do it. I don't remember the last time that anybody, because they were gay, couldn't get share a tax return, file joint, do whatever. That's fine. Nobody cares. Why are you now having to try to push this down the throats of our elementary school kids?
You're going to have to back up a little bit. I can't, you're getting excited, and I can tell when you get excited because you start like getting closer to the camera like you're fixing to chew somebody's head off.
Sorry, I'm getting in that pit bull mode. But I just look at all these agendas, Ryan, and what's wrong with an America First? Because a true America First agenda has the Constitution of the United States that protects us all. And it does make life very bearable and enjoyable for those who will participate within the melting pot. I don't get it.
Well, here's something that is alarming. The word patriot is now a hot word on social media for supposedly domestic terrorists.
Right.
Using the word patriot is a hot word. And I posted on my Instagram. You guys can go check out my Instagram at Ryan Weaver Country. I'm most active on Instagram, but my Instagram and Facebook pages, I'm trying all these new other social media platforms that are out there, but keeping up is really difficult. But I posted the counterterrorism, the domestic terrorism program under Biden, posted that on my Instagram page. I would highly suggest that all of your listeners go read that, because you cannot be a domestic terrorist unless you're white, based off of what they're saying.
Wait, what?
No, I'm no shit. Go read it. I'm telling you, it's almost word for word. Every one of the domestic terrorist events, quote unquote, that have happened in the United States that they refer to are when a white person did it, or if someone used an assault rifle.
Yeah. So what's your
otherwise?
Go ahead.
All the BLM riots, destroying, cities, Antifa destroying cities, looting, burning, killing people, the 30 plus people that were killed in the BLM riots, the thousands that were injured, the billions of dollars that were destroyed. These are the numbers when I throw them out there, when somebody says, oh, all those unarmed civilians went into the Capitol building, and that was so much worse than everything else that BLM did for a whole year, when they said nothing. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I denounced that violence as soon as it happened. The violence I denounced.
Sure. Them
being there and the police officers letting them come in and hanging out and cheering USA, USA, USA. I mean, that's not violence, but there was violence at the Capitol. And if I'm going to condemn the violence from BLM and Antifa, it needs to be across the board on both sides of the house,
without doubt,
as far as I'm concerned. But having said that, everything that Antifa and BLM did at the Capitol building got completely shut down on social media. Got me a 30-day ban for posting the video of the Antifa guy busting the window in the Capitol building, and the Trump supporter going up and stopping him, and then getting beat up by the 10 little kids in their skater helmets, around him. All those videos got completely shut down. This this domestic terrorism thing, I'm telling you, you look at it, it is specifically targeting white people that are Second Amendment supporters that use the word patriot, and you keep seeing it infiltrated into our social media platforms. And guys like me, guys like y'all, supporters of ours, all those are the ones that are being targeted and followed by the folks that don't want us saying these things about how much we love our country and we love our constitutional rights, and we're willing to defend them. As soon as you're willing to say that, as soon as you say that, you become a domestic terrorist.
Right.
But if you look at the quote, the thing I did, and sorry not to get off on some crazy tangent, but if you look at the quote that I put on there, it said anyone that puts out misinformation. You heard the misinformation thing that
That's right.
the redheaded, the carrot top, and the reporter, or excuse me, press secretary.
Hang on,
she said,
"Let me roll back to that. And I'll get back with you on that.
Circle back.
Circle back.
yeah, absolutely. Pisaki circle back, or however it is. But she said specifically that they're targeting people for misinformation. What's the definition of information? Misinformation. It's whatever the government says is true or not true, not what you find out by research and multiple resources. It's what the government says. So on the statement that I posted, it said anyone posting misinformation about COVID, misinformation about the riots, misinformation about the government, all of those people will be targeted as domestic terrorists. So if you disagree with the government and anything they throw out there, whether you get information that hydroxychloroquine works,
right,
and by tens of thousands of doctors, if you put it out there and they consider it misinformation, they can label you as a domestic terrorist and ruin your life.
I think they should just go ahead and call me Osama bin Laden then.
Well, I got to
because I'm in here domestic terrorism all the way. Then
listen,
you just named me.
At the end of the day,
not just you, millions of Americans.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, at the end, the majority. I'd even go out and say the majority. I would say too, though, that we're looking at a time frame where, geez, Cowboy, it's a different day, but it's a mirage. It's not true.
A facade.
Right. It's a facade. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. It's a facade. The fact of the matter is that when you have someone, they also came out and tried to say, BLM's trying to say that the American flag is now a symbol of racism. Now, I take that personal.
I take it more
the Democrat
personal.
Party's saying it.
I take that shit so personal because look at your family, Gold Star family. How do you feel about that as a Gold Star family? Look at all the service you and your family put in and offered up.
And then you're going to have some little punks tell you, oh, yeah, you're not all that.
All I'm going to say is 62 years ago. 62 years ago is when Fidel Castro acted like he was a man of the people in Cuba. Kind of like Biden and offering all these, here you go, dangling the carrots. We don't want carrots. We don't want that. We want less government, and we want the freedom to be free men, free women, to make our own way in this country. You know, Felix, our producer, and myself was talking, I guess, a couple weeks ago now when all this came out, and I said, hey, here's a logical idea. Why don't we trade 1 for 1? Any American freedom-loving Cuban for any socialist-loving American.
Absolutely.
1 for 1. Let's do the trade. And right here, live, right now, this show,
I'd go with this.
Cowboy and Cadillac is putting it out there. The first one of you sons of bitches that don't love this country as it is and its freedoms.
Gonna turn your back during the national anthem.
Yeah, any of that. You put your name, you have the balls enough to put your name down, or you reach out, drop a private message to Felix here. We will personally pay for your ticket first fucking class to send your ass over there. And I want to see how many of you guys want to come out there and just sign up. Or are you just bitches that all you want to do is bitch and moan?
Brother, I mean, they got heavy thumbs. That's what they got. They got heavy thumbs.
Well, we got the money right here.
Thumb
I got
muscles.
some in my pocket. Probably take care of it. You do too.
We'll
be happy to send your asses over there.
Hang on a minute. I'll actually work to make some money to send them over there. How about that?
Might as well.
Free market capitalism going on here.
Listen, we already have socialism in place in this country, and it's a great welfare system that we have, okay? If you're going to live off of it, fucking live off of it, but shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
The welfare system is in place to help people who are down and out, and I thank God for it because yours truly, I was on it when I was a little boy, but it's not there. It's not there for people to get on it and stay on it. But if you're that person, fucking stay on it and shut up. Let the rest of us continue doing what we do to offer you what you do get.
But that's what the Democrat Party wants. They want them to stay on it. They want that government dependence. Because that government dependence is power. It's power over them.
Yeah.
It's like the Stockholm syndrome of our government. It's just they take somebody and make them captive to the needs that they have, and they're stuck there.
Before we wrap this up today, could we throw out some ideas maybe that the listeners at home, and I know all your fans, Ryan, that they look to you because you do have a lot of wisdom and insight on these things. Could we throw out some ideas on what people can do? Because really that's the biggest question that we get, Ryan.
That's right.
What can we do? The number one thing we say is hold the line at home. You know, Mother Teresa had the quote, if you want to change the world, go home and start by loving your family. Mm-hmm. Protect your family, protect your kids, make sure that you're washing all of the brainwashing that's going on with them. Keep it clean. Make sure you are giving good, solid, clear direction and that you're supporting your children in the school systems that we have right now. It's one place.
Be involved in your school system.
Absolutely. What would you say? What's some other ideas, Ryan?
Well, if anybody's an example of it, you know, I would say I am the American dream. There's nothing in this country. There's not a single law or single policy that oppresses anyone and keeps them from, if they want to, becoming successful. There's nothing that does. Laziness does, but it has nothing to do with laws and policy. And we have the freedom to choose what kind of path we take. And everybody can look around and see the shittiness is going on, but we still have the opportunity to chase our dreams in this country. We still have the opportunity because of sacrifices like my brother's sacrifice. I didn't get to talk about Randy. Randy Billings. He was killed in Afghanistan. My brother-in-law to make us a 2-time Gold Star family. But their sacrifices give us the ability to chase our dreams. And I went from boots in the sand in Iraq. Well, let me go back to a family of 11 in West Central Florida. We were, I would say, low-income family, super, lots of love in our family, but low-income family, went into the military, had boots in the sand in Iraq in 2003, boots on the center circle of Grand Ole Opry stage in 2015, and Madison Square Garden in 2018. Have my own cowboy boot line. I got my own tequila. I've got my leather lines, all this. I mean, so many opportunities because I chose to take them. And everybody else has that opportunity. And the best advice I would say to every other American is don't look at what's happening in the United States and think that the American dream is gone, because it's not.
No.
I'm living it.
We're both living it.
Yeah.
You're living it.
We're living it.
A lot of our viewers are living it.
Yeah. Don't listen to the noise.
Absolutely.
Don't listen to the noise.
And don't stop talking.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think that we just need to, I read a book by P.J. O'Rourke. He wrote, I guess in 94, 95, called Eat the Rich. His summation of that book, and over about 6 years of him going to multiple countries, both what was considered good and bad socialism, good and bad capitalism, came to this when it came to America, is that his prediction was that America will wind up going back to a clandestine society, not from a geographical location, but more along the lines of birds of a feather. Mm-hmm. With that being said, we've started a group on Facebook called GGFC, and on GGFC, we have no agendas.
Hang on a minute. Can I say what GGFC stands for? So that's God-fearing, gun-toting, free market capitalist.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm. And the fact of the matter is you can look and see that, Ryan, people like you, people like us, we're going to continue to succeed and we're going to do well because we can do business together. If you're out there and you're watching this and you're listening to this thing, get involved.
Can I say something about God-fearing real quick?
Please do.
Because I was in church. It was actually 2 weeks ago. I was in church, and from the pulpit, the preacher had a little joke that he said, and I just thought this was the most wonderful joke, and I wouldn't get in trouble for telling it like I do for some of my other jokes, like the retard thing that happened and all.
But your preacher said this? I just want to clarify before it's
okay. The preacher actually said this. The preacher said, Ryan, this is pretty good. The preacher says, God is talking to Adam, and he says, Adam, I'm going to give you a companion. You need a companion, so I'm going to give you a companion, and that companion is going to cook for you, clean for you, take care of the house. They're going to take out the trash. They're going to make sure that you get everything that you need. And Adam's sitting there listening to God tell him what all this companion is going to do for me. He said, goodness gracious, God, what is that going to cost me? And God said, that's going to cost you an arm and a leg. And Adam said, what can I get for a rib? Come on now, you know that was good.
That's great.
I thought that was pretty good.
That's great.
You can't,
I'm saying
speechless.
nothing.
He's speechless.
Yeah,
He's speechless.
you're a preacher. I bet the plate was down that week.
Right.
Yeah.
It was.
Don't you put that in there. I can see it right now.
That's funny.
Oh, goodness gracious. Hey, listen, we got to wrap this thing up. Producer's
Yes,
kind of
sir.
shaking a stick at us, and I know, Ryan, you're a busy guy and got a lot going on. We greatly appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, jumping on the show with us today, and we just want to kind of go through a couple things, make sure everybody knows. So we got Warrior Weekend coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Yep.
That's going to be
The 30th, 31st. Yep.
30th, 31st.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday night. It's going to be a great time. Ryan Weaver's going to be performing live along with some other shows.
Anthem.
Yep, that are going to be there.
Blackbird Anthem.
Yeah, going to be a great show. We got the Tequila.
Oh, yeah.
That I can't wait to. I may have to just break the seal on it while I'm
That's
there.
fine.
You know how
That's
I am.
fine.
Sometimes I just get so excited I can't wait.
Just make sure he's got something left for me, please, Ryan. That's all.
I'm bringing a couple bottles down, so we'll break the one on mine, and you let him have a.
There we go.
Cool.
I like it.
Thank you, brother.
I like it. So, Ryan, you got any last words for everybody?
If your listeners can go to my Instagram page at Ryan Weaver Country, my Facebook page is at Ryan Weaver Country. We just we're migrating my website over from weavercountry.com to ryanweaver.net. We actually got that domain opened up for the first time in 15 years. So I'm actually going to have my own name as a domain name now, which is cool.
ryanweaver.net.
ryanweaver.net, but
Okay.
it hasn't migrated yet, so that's the reason why I'm not giving it out. But if you guys put it in your little possible places to go down the line, all this stuff will be in one spot. But
Awesome.
Facebook, Instagram, and Weaver Country is my YouTube page if you want to find all my music videos, to include Burn, Crank It, Never Forgotten, all the songs that we did. And oh, by the way, we got a song called Get Up or Get Out that we're going to be performing out there. So when you're talking about the national anthem, I don't know if you've heard that one or not, or excuse me, I don't know if you've heard that song on the Celebrate America EP, but
I have not
I
actually
appreciate
heard
that.
it. That's going to be. I'm looking forward to hearing it. I may.
But we
even
do
wait
have
till
a
it'll be
new-
surprise.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. The live performance of that is just slamming. I mean, but we do have a new single that's out on pre-sale right now. I need everybody's support because a lot of folks don't realize how pre-sale songs go. If it's up on iTunes and Amazon on pre-sale, all of those sales count when the song drops, which causes a chart. It causes essentially a 1 day of sales of how much ever you did that whole time ahead of time. It causes it to chart on iTunes, Billboard, all those things. So we need everybody. I got all the links on my Instagram and Facebook pages to go download the song ahead of time. It's only $1.29 for the song. Guess we'll spend more than that coffee, but we need that support as an independent artist. If you chart on iTunes or the Billboard charting, it can change your career. It can skyrocket it. And I think that you guys are going to love the video. That's going to be coming out on August 24th, but it's on pre-sale right now.
That's awesome.
Well, man, we appreciate it. And just to wrap it up today, man, I want to remind everybody at home, here's what we can do. Love God, go home, love your family, and love this wonderful country that we are all blessed to live in. And with that being said, Ryan, I don't know if you had a chance to pour one final one. I don't know if you can.
Yes, so we
because of
opened
what your
Well,
schedule.
I'll pull a small one. I'll pull a small one
There
real
you
quick.
go.
Sorry, guys.
So apparently our producer thinks that we can handle it better than we actually do because he poured this a little
There's a
heavier.
little in there.
Or wait, mine's heavier. Oh, I see what it is. He's
getting
got an
you back.
umbrella in yours.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, Ryan, listen, man, we greatly appreciate you being on the show. Cowboy and Cadillac, we're drinking to you, brother,
Yep, to Ryan
I appreciate
Weaver,
that.
your
and to your
success.
service. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Y'all be safe. Man, that is good.
Good to go.